Okay, so what do you think is holding you back in your swimming then? What's your take on it?
Combination of fitness and technique.
Okay.
Fitness I can work on.
Yeah.
There's already been a minimal improvement because my strengths are really swimming. Running and cycling. I'm reasonably comfortable with both of those. Swimming, if I look at sorts of times that someone who, if I look at triathlete time, somebody who's running and cycling my pace, I'm about 10 minutes off.
Okay. Yeah.
That pace over 1,500 metres.
Right.
So again, I could get fit, but I'm absolutely certain that a significant part of that is technique. But I don't know which bits.
Okay. Have you had your stroke looked at before?
Sorry?
Have you had your stroke looked at before, or videos or anything like that?
No.
Okay. And how long have you been swimming?
Well, I've always swum. I've only been swimming for about the last 2 or 3 months.
Okay. Right.
Since I used to swim quite a lot.
Yeah. But that's when you got back into it seriously.
Yeah.
Okay. How often do you swim at the moment?
I try and swim ideally I'd swim 4 times a week.
Yeah.
But I'm averaging 2.5.
Okay. Do you ever time yourself?
No.
Okay. So, are you aware of Swim Smooth?
Only
and the way
from
they
what I've seen. So, looking at your website.
Yeah. Okay. They and I, because that's the way I've kind of been trained, use a particular type of methodology for analysing people's stroke, and obviously how to deal with that stroke from there. And it kind of simplifies the process of stroke correction, really, I suppose, is what you'd say. What they do is categorise swimmers and give each swimmer a particular a name almost, if you like, to categorise, because most people have 5 or 6 particular common traits, and you can deal with people depending on what their category is. I'm not explaining myself very clearly, but if you look on the Swim Smooth, the reason I'm talking about this, if you look on the Swim Smooth site at any point, I'll give you some information on this anyway, but you look like what they call an Arnie type of swimmer. And an Arnie type of swimmer, if you like that or not, kind of muscles their way through the water a bit. So generally suffers from quite poor body position, so your legs are sinking down a bit, and quite a high head. Okay. You've got a 6-beat kick, and you're trying to power your way through rather than relying on nice. You see good swimmers, they'll just kind of slip through the water. Yeah. So rather than kind of, as you said, using super technique, it's more kind of muscling your way through.
I'm pleased to hear that. There's a lot of room for improvement.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. Absolutely. So if we show you what I'm looking at first of all, so the way we deal with this is there's a natural kind of hierarchy when it comes to stroke correction. And what I mean by that is a major issue may well be that your body is dropping and your legs have dropped, and that causes drag. It may be what you may think without speaking to someone like me is to sort my legs out, sort my kick out, and that kind of thing. When in actual fact, your legs are dropping because of something further along the chain, and that starts off with breathing and head position. I'll have a look in a minute to see whether or not you're holding your breath under the water. Head position and holding your breath has a big impact on the overall position of your body in the water. Okay. In simple terms, when you're looking at stroke efficiency and improving people's strokes, we're looking at 2 things. We're looking at propulsion, what we want to improve propulsion, and we're looking at drag. Propulsion and drag are the two main kind of elements, if you like. What I'm talking about here is drag, okay? And that's the difference between these kids who slip through the water and normal age groupers. That's the difference. So yes, this is talking about drag. So if you lift your head, if you look at your head position here, your bilateral breathing, which is really good. A lot of people struggle with that. and that's something that's always good to have, so you can have a nice balance to your stroke. So you've kind of got a big battle won already because you're doing that naturally. So you can see there already how high your head is coming out of the water. Okay. Now I'll wait for you to breathe on the other side. Okay. So you've got a lift in your neck and you've got your whole head out of the water. Now, ideally, what we want to be looking for in terms of head position is we want to have what we call split vision. So you want to have one goggle in the water, one goggle out. Okay. Now, if you think about it, what happens when you lift the head up, and we'll have a look at your breathing in a minute. We lift your head up, it causes. I'll find you under the water. It causes this body position. It causes your body to drop. Yeah, so there's the surface of the water. So your legs have dropped down. This here, all this body shape, is causing a load of drag. Okay, that's the major issue you've got with your stroke, is your body positioning. But there's loads of things you can do for that. Okay, so head position is the number one thing. If I bring up, hopefully the Wi-Fi is working. So this is the Swim Smooth app. It's really good, really, really good. And I'll give you some links to particular parts for you to look at within the site which are relevant to you. It's a paid-for app, but you get 48 hours access, so you can go in and you can watch the videos and all that kind of stuff for free. So what we're looking at here is that's the kind of head position that you want to be in. So one goggle in, one goggle out. And what you end up with is you end up with a bow wave around the top of the head here. Okay? And the bow wave comes around here and makes a little trough. And that's why this is called Popeye breathing, because he's chewing out the side of his mouth. That should allow you to take enough breath in. Okay? Lifting your head, dropping it, lifting your head, dropping it, causes this bow wave to disappear. Okay? So we need to keep the head down and keep it still. And there's a reason why you're lifting your head, which we'll go on to in a minute.
Because I'm scared of drinking any water.
Yeah, yeah. Where are we? That one. Yeah, so lifting your head. And we'll come to the reason for that in a minute, which is something else that we need to address in conjunction with that. Trying to see where we go under the water. Now, something else which lifts the body up at the front is holding the breath.
Which I do.
Okay, so all this area here is full of air. It's going to lift you up. It's going to cause the back end to go down again. All right. So you've taken a big old breath of air there.
And it won't be until the second or third stroke
Yeah.
I start breathing out.
There's a bit coming out there.
Oh, I breathe out whilst I'm under water, but I hold my breath for
Yeah.
a stroke.
Yeah. Okay. Ideally, you want to be breathing out immediately, expelling as much of that air as you can, so that you've got more time to turn your head and get the air in when you turn to breathe. What you may be doing is part of the time you've got to breathe in is being used breathing out, and that, I mean, it can cause a build-up of CO2, which can kind of make you feel a bit kind of anxious and constantly like you're short of breath, particularly when you start to work harder. I don't know if you feel that at all, but it's something that we can definitely do some work on. Some simple drills for that. It's actually not too bad. You are breathing out, but I think it can be tuned up a bit. Now, something else which is affecting your body position, and this is the major thing that we're going to work on. Okay, because there's no point going through a whole raft of things. We concentrate on one or two things, and then we'll make big inroads into that. Otherwise, you'll go to your swimming sessions and you won't know which bits to work on when. You kind of concentrate on one thing, get the body position improved, and everything else will kind of sort itself out, or certainly be much improved. So, what I'm looking at now is where you're looking. You're looking over here somewhere, okay? Again, related to your head position. When I was talking about head position before, I was talking about when you're breathing, you're lifting your head to breathe. But generally, when you're not breathing, you've got your head in the water, you've got a very forward-facing head position, all right? Again, forward-facing head position causes this back end to drop. So you can see you've got three major things contributing to the legs dropping down. All right? We can do some drills to work on, or do some exercises to work on testing yourself in different head positions. And I think you'll find that quite interesting to see how it affects. You obviously can't see it very well, but you might feel a difference when you start looking further down into the water, how it raises the legs up. This will make, if you can get your body up towards the surface more, it'll make a huge amount of difference to the way you swim through the water. I'll show you a clip of she's not too bad, is she? I won't play all of this, but if I capture some of this on the video, then you've got something. It's always good to have something to compare it against, about your stroke, against somebody who's obviously got amazing technique. So
I have many favourite swimmers, but it's fair to say that Rebecca Addington, double Olympic gold medalist here.
Fall off actually, I don't need to hear him speaking, but she's swimming at about I think it's about 1:10 pace here, so sub 5 minutes before 400 metres. Super smooth. And what I'm showing you here, but to show you a few things actually. Her head position, you can see the bow wave. Let's take that back a second. You can see the bow wave around her head there. She never lifts her head, it's always in the same position. Nice alignment. Everything's nice and straight. We'll have a look at your alignment in a second. No, she's got a two-beat kick. And look at her body position there. And that's what I'm trying to show you really, is super high in the water. And that's, apart from everything else, is really good with her stroke. That's the major thing that she's got. She's sitting very close to the surface of the water. Yeah, you said a simple two-beat leg kick. Yours is a 6-beat kick, so you're kicking more often, which is fine, but it just needs a bit of a tune-up. Okay, so if we go back to you. Yeah. Okay, so they're the major things for now. So we'll do some work on your breathing. Okay, we'll do some sink downs, where you learn to exhale and you basically sink down to the bottom of the water. And it's a good exercise for you to see how good you are at getting all that air out your lungs. Do some work on your head position. We'll do some practicing of kind of Popeye breathing, so split vision breathing. So they're the major things that we'll work on for your breathing, head position, and where you're looking as well. We'll do some work on that. So there's your kick. So when this lead arm comes in, the opposite leg kicks down to give you stroke balance, and then you have a little interim kick in the middle there, a little mid kick, and then the other arm comes in and the other leg kicks down. So it's like a two-beat kick with another little kick in the middle. It's a normal kick. It's a normal kick, but it just needs to be tuned up. We won't worry about that too much for now. Now, what's causing your head to drop is, if you look at what happens when you breathe, Just wait for you to take a breath. Now, this lead arm is what should give you the support to allow you to take a breath. Okay? What's actually happening is that is sinking down. So we just go back to.
Yeah, I noticed she just sort of goes straight out.
Yeah. So I can't slow motion this, unfortunately, but she leaves the lead arm high. She takes a breath, and then she engages the catch. So take a breath. The lead arm stays high. Okay. So what you're actually doing. Oops. Go away. Is that arm is slipping straight down through the water. Okay. So rather than staying high and engaging the catch, you're slipping straight down. What that means is that you kind of go down with it, which means you have to go like that to get the air. Okay. So we've got some exercises to help with that. Kicking on the side, which if I put it on here so you've got it. Might still work even though I haven't spelled it. There we go. Dropped off. I think it's got the best Wi-Fi connection in the world now. Now, the kicking on the side drill is a drill which it's like a multi-purpose drill, if you like. It allows you to practice swimming nice and straight in alignment, and turning your head to take a breath while keeping that lead arm high, so not letting it drop down. Just wait for it to catch up a little bit. Yeah, terrible internet connection. So yeah, it allows you to get used to taking a breath and thinking about keeping that arm high. So he takes a breath, keeps the arm high, doesn't let it drop down. You do that on both sides, and it starts to get you used to keeping it high and tune it in. Okay.
Okay.
So that's one thing we can practice. There's a progression of that called the 6-1-6, and the 6 relates to the kicks of the feet. So you take 6 kicks, and then you introduce one stroke, and then you roll onto the other side and do the same thing on the other side. So that's a progression of this. So we can have a go at that as well. Now, what this also helps with is body alignment. Now, what I'll show you last of all, I think, for now, is what you look like from above. This is always an interesting one.
Yeah.
Okay, so you remember how Rebecca was nice and straight, her arms were nice and straight, her body's all totally in alignment. What do you think you do?
Oh, I think I'm all over the place. I'm probably quite right-sided.
Okay, so we almost want to be thinking like we're swimming along tram lines. Everything wants to be going in the same direction you're travelling. We don't want anything kind of going sideways. So just wait for you to get into your stroke. Now, what we're seeing here is that an over-rotation onto your side, and that's all driven by the head. If you sort your breathing out, then that over-rotation won't happen. That, again, start roll onto your side, you start to sink down through the water. That will be sorted out by other things. So we don't need to worry about it too much. So this is the lead arm dropping, and then your recovering arm comes in, and you see how it's kind of pointing over in this direction here, rather than going straight forward from the shoulder. It's not too bad to be fair. But what happens on the other side is we're going that way.
Right.
Okay. So we want to be entering the water and extending forward in front of the shoulder. Now, as a direct consequence of that, and again this leads to the back end dropping down and causes drag, is your arms entering the water sideways, or not straight I should say. What happens to your legs here? Okay, big scissor kick. Alright, obviously it's like a parachute behind you, again causing drag. So these are all interlinked, all these things. What are you thinking so far?
Oh, great.
Yeah?
Useful.
Yeah? It's good stuff, isn't it? So the alignment drill, it makes sure that you get used to, see how you're curving right the way your body shape kind of curves around. So again, if we go back to the kicking on the side drill, you can see how straight it is. Okay, so it just gets you used to being, it's kind of exaggerated because it's completely on his side, but it gets you used to being.
And travelling at speed, so I guess that helps with the
Yeah,
bow weight.
we'll do it with fins on. Okay, so yeah, a lot of the drills that I'll get you to do involve you have fins, because yeah, well I've got stuff. Whatever you need, I've got stuff for you. Now, the problem with doing drills without fins is you haven't got the propulsion for you to concentrate on what you're doing at the front end. You then just end up just trying to concentrate on trying to breathe, and you may spend more time focusing on lifting your head to breathe than you do actually what you're trying to do specifically with the drill. So the fins, the long fins that we use, particularly give you just the right amount of propulsion to keep you up in the water, for you to just concentrate on what's happening at the front end, and concentrating on the technical elements of the drill. Do them enough, then you get it gets ingrained into your kind of movement patterns and things like that, and it starts to become normal. That's why drills are so important to do them again and again and again. And if I just show you finally, I'll show 636 actually. So this is a progression of kicking on the side, and you can see it's not a step on from kicking on the side, and you can see how it starts to apply to a more normal stroke. So kicking on the side, and then you introduce 3 strokes onto the other side. So it starts to really lengthen you out, and you can focus on what's happening because you've got the fins on. Okay? So they are the elements we're going to work on.
Good. All right.
Okay? We make progress with those things that we've discussed. It'll sort out a lot of the other issues. I mean, there's the catch can be improved and things like that, but largely, if we get your body in the right position to start the catch, then the catch will naturally improve anyway. There's no point in improving the catch now because we need to get you set up to start it.
Yeah, it seems like quite a lot to cover anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, so we'll get you back in the water. Let me just stop this recording. Have you got any questions or anything?
No.
No, okay, all right.